Okay, guys, here's a lesson about how to animate a camera in After Effects. I'm talking specifically about using 3D layers and then animating a camera moving around 3D space. Okay, before we actually set any keyframes or anything, I want to show you the finished product. Okay, I just opened up a file where my view is split into two views. What I've done is I've changed my view layout from the typical one view. It's a drop-down menu here in the viewer. It's called view layout, okay? I've changed my view layout to two views and it's horizontal. There's a bunch of different choices. You can go up to like 4 different views, but I'm just going to stick to 2 views horizontal. And the way you change the view is by going to a menu called 3D View Popup. Okay, it's kind of a stupid name for this this attribute, but it's really just changing between your different cameras. And I'm keeping my left side view at top and the right side at my camera 1 view. From top view, as I scrub through the footage, you can see that this camera is spinning around in a circle. In the camera 1 view on the right side, I'll just hit play and you can see that my camera is moving around this 3D cube. Okay. One really important thing about splitting your views is keep an eye out for 4 blue corners. I'm moving my mouse to these 4 blue corners. What do the 4 blue corners mean? The 4 blue corners let you know which view you're selected on. So if you want to change the view, then you can go to your 3D view pop-up. Okay, for example, if I want to change from top view, I make sure that I've got 4 blue corners in this window, and then I'm going to go to the 3D view pop-up menu and maybe I'll switch to the right side view. And you can see that camera kind of spinning around. Okay, let me show you guys some notes. Understanding these 2 drop-down menus, they're on your viewer, they're at the base of your viewer. You got 3D pop-up and something called view layout. My most commonly chosen views are top, active camera, and camera 1. Active camera view and camera 1 view are almost usually the same thing. The only time it really makes a difference is if you have more than one camera, then choosing camera 1 or camera 2 or camera 3 is going to be important. But if you only have one camera, usually active camera view will be exactly the same as camera 1. So here's where I've chosen these different views. Normally I'm on top view on the left side here, and then I'm on camera 1 on the right side. As far as view layout, I rarely switch to more than 2 views. Usually I'm just on one single view. If I switch to more than one view, it's always going to be 2 views horizontal. I feel comfortable with that. And because I'm used to working with 3D applications like Maya and Blender, I'm not going to be doing a lot of 3D stuff in After Effects. So usually I'm just not going to switch to more than 2 views. It just clutters the screen too much. Okay, now I'm going to open up another file and I'm going to show you how I'm going to animate this camera move from scratch. Well, it's not really from scratch. I'm starting with one view and I do have a 3D cube already in the scene. You can tell this cube is 3D because I've activated that 3D cube icon. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is use a keyboard command. Shift Command Option C, that's all the modifiers plus the letter C to make a new camera. Okay, if you're using the menus, you would go to Layer New, Layer New Camera right there. Okay, so all the modifying keys, I'm using all the default settings. As soon as I get a camera inside my composition, I switch my view layout to 2 views horizontal. Okay, automatically it switched the left side to top view, which I always keep it at anyway. That bird's eye view is really useful for animating a camera move, especially moving in a circle. And the active camera view set up on the right side. Like I said earlier, I might switch active camera view to camera 1, but you know, I only have one camera in here anyway, so active camera view and camera 1 look exactly the same. Here's how I'm going to set keyframes. I highly recommend, if you're when you're moving a camera around, try to only limit your keyframes to the position and point of interest. If you try to animate rotation, it's fine if you know what you're doing, but it can get a little bit confusing. You can get really good camera moves by just sticking with keyframing position and point of interest. In this exercise, I'm only going to keyframe position. Point of interest is pretty much going to stay right in the center. What I like to do is to just keyframe the position of 2 attributes, which will also control the rotation of the camera. If I start animating rotation, it can just become a headache unnecessarily so. Okay, here I go. I'm hovering over the Y value for point of interest, and if you keep your eye on the right side, if you keep your eye on the camera view, you can see that by adjusting the point of interest, I am changing the tilt of my camera. Let me switch my top view to right side view. And as I adjust the point of interest of my camera, you should see it tilting up and down. Okay, I'm tilting it up and down. Now what I'd rather do is to just raise my camera. So I'm going to scrub the Y value for the position of the camera, and I'm raising it up high so I can see a lot of that green ground, and then I'm going to raise the point of interest there. And I like that view because my 3D cube is nice and centered in my camera view. I'm switching the left side of my screen over to top, and I'm going to just keyframe position. Moving down my timeline, I'm going to end up setting 5 keyframes total. I'm going to be creating a baseball diamond. You'll see what I mean in a second. Okay, my 4th keyframe is actually third base. Makes sense? And then what's my 5th keyframe going to be? My 5th keyframe is going to be the same position as the first keyframe, so I just copy and paste it. Alright, from here you see that there's a motion path. If I activate my camera view and I play, that looks okay, but there's kind of a lot of zooming in and out because look at the trajectory of my camera. It's not a perfect circle. There's a lot of changing of distance between the camera and the center. So what I'll do is just make some slight adjustments here. Check it out. I'm going to activate my pen tool and I'm going to hover over these points, and I can adjust the bezier handles. By adjusting the bezier handles, I can try to get a little bit of a more rounded circle. Okay, not sure if you guys just noticed what happened here, but for the first keyframe and the last keyframe, I only have one handle because they're kind of butt up right against each other, whereas for other keyframes, I have 2 handles that move along together like a seesaw. So in order to adjust the handles of the first and last keyframe, you got to first select the keyframe until it turns blue, and then you can manipulate that handle. Okay, that's good enough. I'm going to hold Command or Control, and I'm going to adjust the distance of these keyframes from the actual center. Try to keep it a little bit more consistent. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. I'm going to switch back to one single view. Option question mark will fit to window. If you're using a PC, that's Alt question mark, and when I hit play, you got a nice camera move going around this 3D cube. All right, practice that on your own.